reaction. RNC Chairman Reince Priebus. I was very disappointed. I really was in Paul Ryan about, what he said. Did you talk to him about it?
I talked to him this afternoon after he made his comments, and I talked to Donald Trump too, and they're both committed to sitting down and work and actually talking this out. And actually, they're likely to be meeting
seriously,
next week.
On Paul Ryan's part,
well,
why did
look,
Paul Ryan?
I think
to me, it seems selfish. Just like I really am disappointed. The Bushes. I like George Bush 43 a lot. The party has done a lot for them. The party has done a lot for others. Mitt Romney, everyone went to war for him in 2012. I'm getting a little ticked off that it seems.
I know you are, but here's what I would say. I think that, number one, I don't think anyone expected this whole thing to come to an end on Tuesday, and I think it's going to take some time for some people to come to grips and to get to know Donald Trump. And to get on board. And so look, Paul's always said he's going to support the nominee. He's always said he's going to support the nominee. What's that?
This has been going on a year. What do they need to know?
Well, look, I think for some people, an endorsement is a full embrace. And so for some people, it takes a little bit of time to get to a full embrace. And so he's not one of these members of Congress that, might not have to deal with this issue for yet a week or two, but, he's got cameras in his face, and what he's saying is, look, I want to get there. I think I will get there, but I want to talk to Donald Trump, and I want to work with him, and I want to figure out what get us on common ground.
It shows
That's what he's saying.
It shows tepid support at best. McConnell's statement was hardly an endorsement. You know what? It's really frustrating to me. Because I would argue, Mr. Chairman, I would argue that Republican weakness, and it showed up in every exit poll, that Republican rank and file feel betrayed, 60+% of them, by the weakness of D.C. Republicans. Isn't Donald Trump's success?
I get it, Sean, but if I can snap my fingers, Sean, and make everything instantly unified, I would. But in some cases, I know you're not mad at me, but look, I believe this is going to get to the right place. And I think that next week is going to be the start of that. Both Donald Trump and Paul Ryan are meeting next week to talk about these things. I think it's going to work out. But, in some cases, people are not going to be instantly on board. And I know that can be frustrating for some people, but I think everyone has to have allow a little bit of the steam to get out and get everyone to settle down. And I think that this is going to come together.
What do you make of National Review? We put up their comments earlier today. Oh, this is an unmitigated disaster. What do you think of other conservatives that said, Glenn Beck, Eric Erickson, to name a few, they're not going to vote for the nominee? What is your reaction to that?
Well, look, I think that you ask me in a couple months, and we'll see what they say when the decision has to be made as far as who's going to be on the Supreme Court, and when Donald Trump puts out his potential nominees for the court. People are going to have a choice to make. Do we want to, destroy America for generations with liberal justices that Hillary Clinton is going to provide? Who's going to sign a budget that Paul Ryan writes with the members of the House? It's not going to be Hillary Clinton. So look, we have some serious choices to make, and I understand it takes time. This was a very contentious primary. I think it's going to take a little bit of time, but I think for the most part, this is going to come together. Maybe not 100%, but I think we're going to get very close to that, and I think people will fall in line.
You got a lot of people at National Review and the Weekly Standard. Let me they actually put a challenge out to you. It says the party of Lincoln is in ruins. A minority of its primary voters have torched its founder's legacy by voting for a man who combines old-fashioned democratic ideology, a bizarre form of hyper-violent isolationism, and fringe conspiracy theories and serial lies with the enthusiastic flock of online racists to create perhaps the most toxic electoral coalition since George Wallace. And to add insult to injury, multiple GOP leaders bulldozed the ashes by issuing nauseating calls for unity, foremost among them Reince Priebus. Reince, you should resign rather than spending one more ounce of personal energy supporting a reprehensible man. National Review, online.
Well, look, Well, first of all, what am I going to do? Disunity? I mean, I'm the chairman of the party. Of course I'm going to call for unity. That's a stupid, idiotic statement put up by people that, would rather divide than unite. Unfortunately, division is profit. Unity is a loser. And so it's difficult to swim against those currents.
However, did they support every establishment candidate?
Well, look, the point is that you have a choice to make. And I think the choice is very stark. But I do understand it's going to take time. As the chairman of the party, of course I'm going to call for unity. And as chairman of the party, I need to support the eventual nominee of our party. That's what parties do. This was voters and delegates
this choice. All right, last
make
question.
these decisions.
I bet you're glad you didn't have a contested convention in the end. Did you talk to Ted Cruz, Senator Cruz?
I left him a message. I talked to his campaign chairman, and I'm going to give him another call tomorrow. But we'll talk. I mean, we have talked a lot, by the way, so it's nothing strange. But I think he's going to take a couple days off. Good relationship. I agree. I think an open convention, while I know a lot of people were excited about it, and it's a lot of fun to talk about, I think it comes with a tremendous cost and unforeseen results, and I think the clarity is something that is needed in our party. And like I said, this is going to take time, but I think we will heal and we'll come together and we'll beat Hillary Clinton.
Is there any part of Trump's agenda that you think is not conservative?
Look, I think we'll work that out. I think that there are some things that he'll work on, and I think there's some things that we'll work on, and certainly the platform of our party will be written in Cleveland, and I think you're going to get another very conservative platform out of our party.
All right, Reince Priebus, chairman of the RNC, thank you. When we